This is Hoima District, Western Uganda. Welcome to the remote village of Kihoro, where international oil companies have known about the presence of oil since the 1920s and began intense exploration in 2007. Seismic surveys have proven that in the region there is 2 billion barrels of oil under the lake, if not more.
Basically what you see before you is a drilling rig, a typical land drilling rig. A fairly typical land drilling site, except we have a few environmental considerations here that we have to take care of.
Tests conducted by the Uganda Wildlife Authority, or UWA, this year about the lead concentrations in the lake are up 19 times the standard levels.
The cuttings that we're taking from the well, we'll have to dispose of them at another site away from here.
This increase is a result of toxic mud cuttings left behind by the oil companies in the process of their exploration activities. This has environmental groups in Uganda up in arms. Recent tests have found lead, zinc, chromium, cadmium, nitrogen, and chloride, among others, inside of the waste mud. Ingestion of any of these chemicals can prove to be fatal. The impact of these chemicals and seismic activity on the environment in both the water and to the wildlife is devastating. A refinery may mean the end of the lush nature here.
We're drilling out directionally. We're actually going out underneath the lake here. So we're drilling at an angle. We've got about 30 degrees angle in the well. We get quite a lot, there's been quite a lot of seismic and volcanic activity in this area, which is complicating the drilling matters.
President Yoweri Museveni is caught in a standoff with Western oil companies that want Uganda to export crude, while he wants a refinery built in Uganda to fulfill his dream of building an industrial economy.
When Museveni came, is the one who processed everything, then they started.
We've been having discussions, and the idea of building a refinery is now agreed on by all the people I talk to.
Medium-sized refinery of about 150,000 barrels could cost about $2 billion. That's money that's about half of Uganda's budget.
The refinery comes at a high price. On the shores of Kihoro, people live on less than $1 a day, whereas the magnitude of the oil discovery is half of Uganda's gross domestic product. Likewise, this fishing community will be ruined by the construction of oil platforms.
In a normal land rig operation, we would have a huge pit dug behind the rig, and we'd quite simply put all the cuttings in there, and then when we were finished, we'd fill that in. But here we can't do that because of where we're at.
It is understandable that the people are very anxious, but that anxiety cannot rush government into coming out with statements. So government has nothing secret to hide about these oil explorations.
Needless to say, the money to be spent on the refinery is not money spent on the local community. The oil production sharing agreements, or PSAs, still remain confidential and hidden from the public eye because of the environmental consequences of drilling and refining oil. In the Albertine Rift Basin, the oil exploration and pollution continues at the expense of the environment. The community surrounding the oil site does not benefit from the international interests and Museveni's persistent aspirations for a refinery.